1961 began on an auspicious note. In a solemn investiture, which combined the splendors of old Malay courts with the constitutional symbols of modern Malaya, His Majesty Tuanku Syed Putra Ibni Almarhum Syed Hassan Jamalulil was formally installed third Yang di-Pertuan Agong of Persekutuan Tanah Melayu. With profound reverence, our new king dedicated himself to the service of the nation. Following the inauguration, their Majesties began a state-by-state tour of the Federation. Everywhere they were greeted with joy and demonstrations of loyalty. Appropriately, the royal tour began in His Majesty's home state. As Raja of Perlis, he proved himself a progressive ruler. He started many enterprising schemes for the people's welfare, especially in the field of education. It was fitting that Selangor should be chosen as the last state of the tour. From rulers to the common man, homage and allegiance were paid to a sovereign who has become identified with the people as a symbol of their national unity. His Majesty showed a deep concern for the well-being of the common man. He called upon the Rayat for unsparing and sustained effort to make the land productive. On all occasions, His Majesty impressed on his subjects the need for continuing peace. He urged them to display tolerance and to live in harmony with one another. Spread over some 8 months, the royal tour provided ample opportunity for our king to observe at first hand the manifold activities by which the nation is nourishing its social and economic growth. At his installation, His Majesty pledged that he and the Raja Permaisuri Agong would carry out their duties to the utmost. And it is significant of the royal tour that our king at all times displayed unflagging interest despite an exacting program. Malaya is indeed fortunate to have a queen endowed with the sterling qualities of selfless service and leadership. With her lifelong devotion to social and welfare work, Her Majesty has set a noble example for the women of Malaya to follow. June the 7th, and the nation celebrated King's birthday with a further demonstration of pride and loyalty. In Kuala Lumpur, a superb parade by the 6th Battalion, the Royal Malay Regiment, was held to honour the sovereign on his 41st birthday. During the year, their Majesties made their first overseas visit to Brunei. They were accorded a most enthusiastic welcome. It was a journey to a land where ties of blood, language and religion are a reminder of our historic connections. The many Malayans serving in Brunei are a living testimony to the friendship and cooperation existing between our two countries. Among the distinguished visitors who came to our shores were ex-King Leopold of the Belgians and his wife, Princess de Reti. The second head of state to visit Malaya, President Carlos P. Garcia of the Philippines. The well-remembered Supremo of World War II, Earl Mountbatten, Chief of the Imperial Defense Staff. From newly independent Nigeria came Dr. Okpara, Prime Minister of the Eastern region. And from the Federal Republic of Germany, its Foreign Minister, His Eminence Sheikh Mahmoud Shaltut, Rector of Al-Azhar University. The Commonwealth Relations Secretary, Mr. Duncan Sands, paved the way for the Commonwealth Prime Minister's Conference. Mr. Peter Thornycroft, British Minister of Aviation, discussed the implications of any decision by Britain to join the European Common Market. In 1961, the federal capital established itself as the centre for international gatherings. The Conference of Higher Learning focused attention on the thirst for learning in an awakened Asia. The Countrywomen of the World Asian Regional Conference and Seminar brought to the capital a host of foreign delegates. opening the UNESCO Conference of Audiovisual Aids, the Minister of Education suggested that Kuala Lumpur could be an effective centre for the dissemination of audiovisual materials for the Malay-speaking archipelago. At the International Press Institute seminar, Malaya was chosen as a centre for the Asian Secretariat because it was one of the very few countries with a free press. Biggest and most important conference of all was the 13th ministerial meeting of the Colombo Plan Consultative Committee. The Tunku made a strong appeal for stabilisation of commodity prices, so that benefits from the Colombo Plan may not be nullified. Our achievements since Merdeka won high praise from the delegates. The year was made memorable for the glorious events in 3 states. The crowning of the new ruler of Kelantan sparked off a week-long celebration. Following their coronation, the Sultan and Tunku Ampuan of Selangor were joyfully acclaimed as they drove in state. In the royal town of Sri Menanti, the young Pertuan Besar of Negeri Sembilan was formally installed at a traditional ceremony. Malaya is indeed a land rich in colour and custom. We enjoyed another year of continued prosperity. Greatly contributing to the financial strength of the Federation is the Employees' Provident Fund, now housed in its own headquarters. As banker and financial advisor to the government, Bank Negara is playing a vital role in the nation's economic development. Our policy of full freedom of trade and the encouragement of both local and foreign enterprise have created a favourable investment climate and brought in new wealth. The newly established stock market and clearinghouse reflects the increased financial and economic stability in the country. A small country like Malaya must live by trade backed by friendly relations, which will bring financial backing and brains from abroad. Our trade agreement with New Zealand is an example of goodwill translated into practical terms. As an outcome of the basic agreement for special fund projects, a national productivity centre was established to help us in our industrialisation programme. The University of Malaya is still the mainstream from which the nation draws its professional ranks and its future leaders. At the convocation, 377 degrees were conferred and 98 diplomas awarded. Among those honoured was the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Rural Development, who received the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. Citation aptly described him as a man with a sense of urgency. Another important event was the maiden voyage of the specially converted pilgrim ship Kuala Lumpur. In 1961, over 7,000 pilgrims made the journey to Mecca, a post-war record which indicates the increased prosperity of the people. The government has fulfilled its pledge to do everything possible for the welfare of pilgrims. On the lighter side, the first photographic safari was an unqualified success, thanks to the cooperation of the models and the enthusiasm of the shutterbugs. They were there, young and old, including our cameraman, of course. Pretty girls and a sunny day. What could be more perfect? On the East Coast, the Malayan Nature Society, in cooperation with the Terengganu state government, made its first attempt towards the preservation of the leathery turtles. This species is known to breed only on the coast near Dungan and is on the verge of extinction unless efforts are made to save it. The new Federation Military College at Sungai Besi is clear evidence of the steady expansion of our armed forces. Opened by His Majesty, the college forms part of the $20 million military cantonment, which will be completed by 1963. Early in July, a relief force of 947 officers and men left for the Congo on the US naval ship General Blatchford. Drawn from the 6th Battalion, the Royal Malay Regiment, and from B Squadron, the 1st Reconnaissance Regiment, our multiracial force will help to maintain peace and order in the strife-torn republic. Malaya's response and continued support of the United Nations reflects her deep faith in the World Organization. We can justly take pride of our efforts in the noble cause of world peace. The return of the first contingent Malayan Special Force from the Congo was a proud and happy occasion. Our men had acquitted themselves with valor and distinction, despite a most difficult and perilous assignment. Thankfully, they all returned safe and unharmed. By their conduct and discipline, they have lived up to the highest traditions of our army and have written a new page in its history. It was fitting that our king should do them honor. We salute our brave soldiers, whose courage and devotion to duty brought new fame to Malaya. Kapal di Raja Malaya, the Royal Malayan Naval Base in Woodlands, was honored with a visit by our king. Hundreds of ratings smartly paraded before the sovereign, who was seen for the first time wearing the Admiral's uniform. The main role of our Navy is to protect the nation and guard our territorial waters. It's being developed into a self-supporting and independent unit. 1961 will go down in history as the year when government mobilized all its resources in a second emergency, the battle against poverty, ignorance and disease. The new national headquarters of rural development is a shining symbol of our determination to redress once and for all the social and economic imbalances existing between the urban and the rural areas. Plans for every district have been embodied in red books. These form the basis of Malaya's second five-year plan, a plan which will cost over $5,000 million, a plan designed to bring prosperity to the people and to the country for generations to come. In the first phase, government laid the foundation framework. Now it was up to the people. Driving force behind the national effort was our Minister of Rural Development, Tun Abdul Razak. He toured the country from end to end, talking to the people and seeing things for himself. With untiring patience, he stressed over and over that time was the essence and action must be the watchword. During the year, millions of dollars worth of heavy equipment and machinery poured into the country. These are the weapons in our battle for national development and rural uplift. At state level, rural development committees, spurred by the sense of urgency, went all out to reach their targets. Now, unhampered by the delays of red tape, the pace gathered momentum and was pushed to top gear. During the year, vast areas of jungle were opened up for cultivation and settlement. Land is recognized as the most important factor and asset in the economic upliftment of the people. The government continued to tackle with vigor the problem of bringing land within reach of the landless, as well as to those who do not have enough for economic sufficiency. Under the direction of the Federal Land Development Authority, plots of 10 1/4 acres were allotted to 4,800 farmer families, and the means provided to them to begin a new life. Drawn from the lowest income groups, they receive an allowance of up to $70 a month for the first 2 years while cash crops develop, and $50 a month for the next 4 years until the rubber is yielding. Settlers repay these allowances over periods from 10 to 20 years when they become entitled to permanent ownership. The program provides for the clearing of 250,000 acres in the next 5 years. It will mean the provision of farming and agricultural facilities for 25,000 families. But more than that, it will satisfy man's hunger for the land. It will be a study of racial cooperation. It will be an exercise in nation building. Side by side with land development has been the outstanding achievements in the field of road communications. Nothing was allowed to stand in the path of progress. The latest machines speeded up work, and by the end of the year, some 500 miles of roads were completed. With the target set at 1,200 miles, the public works is way ahead of schedule. The construction of a vast network of substandard roads not only linked our kampongs, but they provided more employment opportunities for the people. One marked feature of rural development has been the splendid cooperation from the people. Numerous projects like bridle paths and kampong bridges were completed on a partnership basis. Government provided the materials, while the people volunteered their labor. This will to help themselves has brought out the people's initiative. At a kampong in Penang, for example, villagers came forward with concrete suggestions for altering a proposed new road that would bring even greater benefit to the area. The work of drainage and irrigation is essential to the development of our agriculture. Of a total of 71 schemes, 20 were completed. Irrigation and drainage facilities have brought over 35,000 acres under double cropping. Construction is racing ahead. Nearing completion is the largest flood control gates in Malaya at Wanmatsaman, Kedah. The gigantic Kubang Pasu scheme involves 4.5 miles of canals for irrigating 83,000 acres of paddy land. In addition, some 7,000 acres of unproductive swampland have been reclaimed. Bridges are a vital means of communications. By speeding up traffic, they contribute greatly to the country's development. Since the implementation of the plan in 1960, 651 bridges, big and small, costing well over $1,000 million, have been completed. The numerous bridges constructed in kampongs are serving the people and improving their livelihood. In the first phase of rural development, top priority was given to easing the lot of the people by providing them with essential amenities. No other measure has proved such a boon as the provision of water supplies. But the task has only just begun. In the next 5 years, a total of $140 million has been earmarked for expenditure on water supplies. The emphasis is on the construction of new supplies and the extension of existing ones to serve the rural areas. One of the most novel schemes was the project to supply Pulau Jerejak with water by the use of submerged pipes. In the past, the island suffered severe water shortages during the dry months. But with the laying of this pipeline, the people will now be assured of a constant supply of good, clean drinking water. No effort was spared to improve the health of our rural population. Much has already been done to alleviate suffering and reduce infant mortality. Increased attention was given to maternity and child welfare, nutrition and health hygiene. The year saw further expansion of medical and health facilities into the rural areas. The introduction of better sanitation in the kampongs was another step to keep waterborne diseases in check. In 1961, the anti-malarial pilot project, carried out by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with the World Health Organization, made good headway. Comprehensive measures were taken with the view to total eradication of a disease which for decades has been a major cause of death. 25% of our national income is spent on education. More classrooms were added and plans were finalized to introduce free primary education from 1962. The provision of better facilities has helped to raise standards of learning in the rural areas. In 1961, the government took over full control of adult education, and a concerted campaign was launched to combat adult illiteracy. The aim is to make every citizen literate in the national language, and to instill in each a sense of consciousness of his civic duties and responsibilities. A start was made in setting up libraries in the outlying areas. The application of scientific methods and techniques have helped to increase the production of paddy. We now grow 70% of our needs. The goal of self-sufficiency is steadily being realized. More buffaloes were distributed to farmers under the Pawa system. Continued support was given to the breeding and improvement of livestock. Many inland ponds were stocked with fish in order to provide a more nutritional diet for the population. Our fishermen have benefited much from cooperative sources. The introduction of modern methods, mechanized boats with up-to-date gear, have enabled them to increase their catches and produce more income. New jetties were also built to serve the people. The Pekan Sahari has now become a permanent fixture of rural life, a place where the country people can sell their produce in dignity and with full protection from sun and rain. Community halls now provide a convenient meeting place for the people to discuss their problems and voice their suggestions. The women's institutes have also played their part by training kampong women to be good housewives and mothers. Playing fields costing $70,000 were constructed in the rural areas. Through healthy exercise, our youth can grow up strong in mind and in body. Every encouragement was given to the development of cottage industries as a means of raising the people's incomes. Ryder extended its training facilities. It also set up a small industries services institute to market the products of the people. On all sides, there is ample evidence that a new spirit has emerged in the land. The people are responding. With faith in their leaders and hope in the future, the Rakyat are working with one heart and one mind in the traditional spirit of Gotong Royong. Self-help may well prove to be the last link in the chain forged by the government to improve the rural economy and bring prosperity to our country people. Free Malaya is a new Malaya. The general progress of the Federation since Merdeka has indeed been remarkable. Housing projects and industrial estates are mushrooming all over the country. As a further sign of their prosperity and higher standard of living, more Malayans are today owning houses than ever before. And what's more, they're becoming increasingly home conscious as well. "1961 was the year of construction. The building boom has continued unabated. Typical of the tempo and sweep of progress is the new Dewan Bahasa dan Balai Pustaka, the new survey department, the teachers training college in Pantai Valley, the $5 million maternity hospital in Kuala Lumpur, the $3 million stadium Negara with seating capacity for 12,000 under cover. Our multi-million-dollar Parliament House and Avenue, the Cameron Highlands hydroelectric scheme, biggest single undertaking in Malaya, will cost $150 million when completed in 1964. The $37 million North Klang Straits project for the construction of 3 deep-water berths is well underway. The keynote in Malaya is expansion. We have a widening economy, a standard of living already considered the highest in Asia. We are creating conditions for better living, wider markets and higher purchasing power. The changing profile of the federal capital is a testament of confidence in the new Malaya. We keep planning ahead. The conclusion of the $50 million new airport agreement will mean that we will soon have the longest runway in this part of the world. In 1961, the Tunku's plan for regional cooperation came into being. Malaya, the Philippines and Thailand formally launched the Association of Southeast Asia, ASA in short. The name spells hope. The Tunku has stressed that ASA is not connected with any power bloc, nor is it directed against any country. It is a free association of countries exclusively concerned with joint endeavor in economic, social and cultural progress. Of all the year's events, none has had a greater impact, both at home and abroad, than the Tunku's concept of a Federation of Malaysia. Borneo leaders were assured by Tunku that a closer association of our territories would be to the benefit of all.